And lol, joke the beard is me. Hello, we are back on the caster's desk. Oh, you know, it's like basketball. I just passed it straight to myself, ready for the dunk, coming back into this caster. We're ready to get on to this next game. Vitality versus Misfits. Misfits on their own stream. TheSnowSpy, welcome to the stream. And Misfits going to take it home.
I mean, Misfits has to take it home now. You've given them such an introduction. We really believe in this team. Like you were saying, they are coming up against a tough opponent. The Vitality team does have quite a few high-ranked players, especially that mid lane and the bot side. Those are the main key things that we're going to be looking at for this Vitality team. But it's Misfits. Like, we're all here to watch them stomp. We're here to watch them win. And they've got the two best casters looking after them. So, you know, it's going to go their way.
Bold claims, but I love that. I love that. Hornets obviously looking to make a bit of a sting. We'll see if the side of Misfits have got a few tricks on the sleeves. Maybe they're wearing those, you know, bee nets, you know those like big costumes they wear. You know, Beekeeper Sin, he's running in that thing. Maybe they got those on, you know, Hornets can't get through that. But either way, we'll see how they can do things in draft. Right now, we're going to see the Viego and the Lulu already banned away Zoe. And it is the side of the Vex, also removed.
Yeah. I mean, they're taking away straight away, targeting these specific champions. I'm wondering whether this is the right way around, because it seems that the Vitality team is the team that has Zoe and Vex, so they would be banning away their own champions if this was the way it's going. So we'll have to check on production if it's which is going to be red side or not. They're amending it now, so it's the Golden Hornets on blue side, so they weren't banning away their own champions. Taking away that Ivern, taking away that Zoe and that Vex from the side of Misfits, and it's going to be that Volibear hovered straight away. So if they do end up locking that one in for the Hornets side, giving yourself a nice safe jungler. And we talk a lot about, you know, what are the players we're looking at in terms of ranks. I feel like giving your jungler something nice and safe, something easy to play, is going to help in these more chaotic games.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? When they were potentially banning away their own picks, I was like, never let them know your next move. You know, that's really based. I rated that a lot.
25 steps ahead.
Yeah. It's like, you know, we're going to play Zoe, so we're going to ban Zoe to really mess up what you think. But it is not to be. It was a little bit of a switch around, but we saw that out. Volibear going to be locked in. We already saw Volibear in the last game. Has been looking very strong as a champ.
Yeah, Volibear is just, it's one of those champions where it has really easy gank access, really good team fighting. It's a good front line as well, so it fills a lot of roles. On the flip side, Misfits taking that Wukong. They spoke about it before. We've been speaking about all day how good this champion can be in the jungle role. Does so much damage, and it deals so well into AD threats. Volibear does most of his damage through attack damage. Armor is something that Wukong has very easy access to, so he can definitely duel him in the early game.
Yeah, looks strong in game one as well. Wukong has been making his presence in the jungle position known on the Rift. And to be fair, it's kind of been a minute since he's been playable or played a lot. You know, I feel like it's never really been a thing that I've seen too much in pro play. So it's kind of nice to see the monkey back onto the Rift. And I'm not sure if we're getting a little bit of a delay with the draft because it hasn't locked in. But we'll keep you guys posted right now in chat. If we were to kind of have a guesstimate of what we think is next, who would you say is going to be next on the pick list?
Well, I'm going to say the next pick is Nami. And that's not because production told us. No, so it was a fucking draft lol. It's Wukong Nami going to be locked in for the Misfits side. So they've picked up a nice, strong bot laner for themselves. I feel like a lot of what we've seen in these games, obviously these teams haven't had a mass amount of time to synergize. So a lot of the games have been lane difference. Whoever gets the leads is the one that's going to carry. And if you give yourself a strong laner like Nami, set you up for the game a bit easier. But on the flip side, the Hornets want to attack this straight away, and they are going straight for that Leona.
They've gone for the Leona, and they're looking to hover the Jhin as well. Obviously, if you know a little bit about biology, maybe even geography, some would say, Nami, a fish, Leona brings the sun is hot, burns out the water, the fish can't play, and that's how the bot lane goes.
I mean, it depends on how hot she is, you know, like if Leona's coming in with kind of that mild heat, you're in a nice hot tub with your Nami, just chilling in the bot lane, drinking some margaritas, vibing out with your AD carry. I'm not sure what we're going to bring in next. Jhin paired with Leona gives you a lovely little bit of CC along with that Volibear as well. Super easy gank access in that bot side. So I'm expecting to see a few more carry threats from the mid top because you've kind of set yourselves up in a position where your damage is lacking at the moment.
Yeah, but as you said, it sets up for so many picks. You can pick any assassin. You don't have to worry about CC. You've already got that in spades. Your Jhin can set you up. And as we've always seen from just any pro player. Jhin doesn't have to play the main character. You know, he can play that little bit more of a back seat, as we are going to get a reset on the draft. We are going to be speeding through those first few picks and getting us back up to speed. But anything could go. You know, we could see some Akali, we could see new Swain, we could see all of these new picks with no difficulties because of their comp is so good. But do you feel like they're setting up for maybe something like a team fight-esque comp? Because they have got the Volibear, they have got the Leona. They could potentially play split push, but do you think team fight would be better?
Well, the issue is as soon as you pick Jhin, your kind of options for team fighting narrows a little bit. You can still team fight, but you're lacking a lot of that consistent damage. Jhin, if you didn't know, has a lot of utility, works a lot through burst. He plays around his fourth shot, he looks to Gale Force in, burst someone down, one-shot one of the squishies. He's not really a tank killer, so you can't really play front to back. And if you're playing with a comp that has something like Volibear, Leona, Jhin, you want to make snap decisions and big team fights happen instantly. So something like an Ahri, something that can lend into that pick kind of style, suits really well. Alternatively, you can go the other way and lock something in like a Cass or a Rise, and that be your big damage threat. And basically, you just throw everything in the AP basket, and you let Jhin be that secondary follow-up.
You know, on the flip side of the Rift, we saw a couple of picks locked in. We saw the Wukong, we saw the Nami. Obviously, both really, really beautiful ults if you want to play for a team fight wombo. So maybe we see Yasuo?
Maybe. I mean, you've got the knock up there already. You've got the fish. The pairing works well. And it's definitely a pick that, you know, lends itself to this style of game. Chaotic games. Yasuo thrives in. Him and his brother Yon, the two brothers, can work really well in these kind of games. And it does look like we are going to get the same picks coming through. Volibear is going to be locked in. Wukong, Nami, Leona, Jhin we're expecting to see. So it leaves us on this third pick red side, which is kind of one of the really important ones, because this is the last pick that you get to blind before your double ban phase.
Yeah, we'll obviously have to see what they do decide to ban. Obviously, the solo laners, that's where you're going to aim for your bans. Looking at kind of like the prep coming into this, there's a lot of good laners that they kind of need to ban away. Obviously, Camille, Jax on this list. Are there any particular ones that you really would want to remove, or are you kind of just saying just take away their main play?
I mean, the thing is, at least when you're on this red side, you've always got that R5 pick. You've got that last pick that you can rely on. And now that we see that Ezreal being the champion that locked in, you know what the bot lane is. You're keeping it safe. You're saying Ezreal, Nami, you know, you're going to scale up decently. You're going to have a good amount of range, a good amount of poke to try play from range. So to me, this says that they want their mid lane to be something that has a bit more range to help build into that composition. Because at the moment, they want to play from a distance. And yes, you have Wukong that has that follow-up, he has that engage, but an Ezreal isn't really that champion that you rely on to massively output a huge amounts in constant team fights like something like a Jinx or an Aphelios would.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those angles where you kind of need to go for that little bit higher DPS maybe in your solo lane as well. But Ezreal scales out pretty nicely, so in those later stages he does do a lot of damage, and obviously we've seen how much Nami can buff people. We saw that Lucian earlier on. Those early trades can go pretty well for you if you do have Nami on the side.
And on the flip side, I mean, you've always got the Ezreal press the attack build. Like that's something that's been happening recently. You have a good bit about a burst to that. You pair that with an army, instantly able to proc all of those E-procs. Just so much damage against this Jhin. And you're not really going to be killing Leona in this lane. So it's a good call to go for the Ezreal because you just want to whittle them down. You get them to a state where they can't engage on you, and then the lane becomes a lot easier. But we see from this ban phase, 2 poke champions taken out from the side of Misfits. Obviously, that Green Hornets mid laner is kind of a poke OTP with the Zoe, so you want to take away more of those ranged champions and force them onto something they're a bit more uncomfortable on.
Which they've tried. We'll see how effective that is. Obviously, there are still a lot of picks, and them being a Masters player, as talked about a little bit earlier in the broadcast, means that they're most likely going to be able to play a multitude of picks. But Corki being locked in there does cause a little bit of problems and also takes away from that poke potential playstyle of the Green Hornets mid lane.
Yeah, it's one of those laners that is always going to be fine into whatever you pick. They've taken away Xerath, they've taken away Lux, 2 matchups that can kind of outrange Corki. It's one of the main things you can go to. You can try to outrange him, try poke him before he gets online, or you can go for kind of more hard engage, more just bully him in lane, something like that Akali if you want to outplay him. But obviously the mid laner from the side of Hornets hasn't played many of those champions we spoke about before. It was mainly a Zoe OTP. But if this Annie gets locked in, they're looking for something spicy straight away. That says to me, I'm going to smash you in lane.
or they've been watching Tyler 1. You know, it's
true.
It's twofold. You know, maybe Church of LS follower over here, going for that Annie pick there. I can't say it's not effective though. Like obviously point and click stun, always a good vibe. Plus you have the Leona, you have the Volibear. They've definitely set for a very forward moving comp. The Nocturne though, does this mean maybe Nocturne jungle, Volibear top?
I think so. I think it gives you the options. I mean, we have seen of a few patches ago, there was the Nocturne top, so I don't know if we move towards that again. We have been seeing a little bit of spice in these games recently, so it depends on what the matchup is. And Gnar could be something that maybe plays into the Nocturne. I know Huni on TSM liked to play that Nocturne into Gnar before, so it all depends on what the Hornets really want to prioritize. I think for me, they're more likely going to move that Volibear into the top lane. It's something that wins lane really well. And even into Gnar, he's going to get poked down a bit. But if he ever gets on top of that Gnar, he is doing so much damage.
Yeah, Gnar, obviously, I wouldn't say is the most popular champion, unless you're in the LGL, of course, in which case everyone plays the champion. But it definitely has its moments, you know. And I will say, you say Volibear likes to win those matchups, but Gnar is really good at fighting. You know, the boomerang plus getting the speed up from the 3 autos, it can pose a bit of a problem for the Volibear. Obviously, there are ways for Volibear to get into range, but I do feel like it's going to be a bit of a toughie in the top lane.
So good when you get past that early game stage of dealing with so many of these early game champs. And if they get past that 20-minute mark, it's Misfits all the way. It has to be.
I can see the message in chat now, caster bias. I can already feel it. I already know what's gonna happen. But that's why my answer was so wishy-washy at the start, because Hornets has so much potential level 6 to just run with this game. It's all about whether when they get those level 6 marks, they can hit the ground running and just absolutely start to obliterate and take every objective before Misfits can scale. No, it's going to be an absolute banger. I'm super excited. I think both these teams have brought through great comps. They have great potential to win this game, and I'm excited to see whoever picks up the dub either way. But we are into game, and we are not seeing anything crazy from the get-go. Everyone just sitting in a 5-point stance. No invades just yet.
Yeah, thank the heavens for that, because I was not ready to get that hype this early on. I mean, that last game, props to Middlecott and Mac. They had an absolute banger of a game. And I mean, we've just got here, Jay. You've been here all day. You've been on the desk, but I feel like we need to ease into it slightly. So they've given us a rest for now. They're going to start with some regular pathing, but it is going to be parallel. Junglers heading to opposite sides of the map.
No, it definitely is going to be. And to be fair, starting red, not too uncommon for either of these junglers. Nocturne, we already talked about wanting to probably do like a 6-camp clear, get it all the way through. Wukong could potentially go for some earlier ganks as well, but obviously their level 6 is very strong too. So wouldn't be too surprised if they also go for a 6.
Yeah, both of these going to be power farming most likely. Makes sense at least for next Vetheø to be moving towards that bot side. Your Ezreal, Nami, you don't want them to get engaged on. You want them to constantly be able to push in, find those poke opportunities, kind of whittle this enemy team down as we spoke about it. So pathing towards them does help you a lot. And on the flip side, Reborn Yami on this Nocturne wants to save this Volibear, because this Gnar, if they play it well, it's going to be a rough lane.
It definitely could be a bit of a rough lane, and I think Lancer started off pretty nicely. A bit, he dropped the boomerang there. We'll forget about that one. But so far, I don't know if it's just a client bug. It says no one has got farm yet for me.
Yeah, they don't need it. You know, they don't want it. We're playing Heroes of the Storm now, guys. No farm for anyone. Yeah, I think it's a client bug. I'll be very shocked if not a single person last hit. It's like junglers both reset their camps. Everyone, none of the minions have died. It would definitely be a situation, but I think the best way to look at it now is in terms of levels. Right now, we see that across the board, everyone's even in their lane states. Lancer has a wave state that's pushing away from them, which could be detrimental to them in the next couple of minutes if this Nocturne finds their way up there.
Yeah, and obviously Nocturne playing through that top side. We'll have to see what Volibear plays around that wave, though, because if he pushes it too much, Gnar is going to be sitting pretty happily underneath his tower, and the same is true for the bot side. Right now, it looks like a pretty nice going for Wukong because of how far pushed up this 5,000 bot lane is.
Yeah, but it's good timing. They're able to get that wave in just in time, so it's going to bounce back to them. Jhin's taking the reset now, and it basically gives them that 30 seconds of security where they know, okay, our bot lane can't be ganked. And with the Leona spotting that Wukong in the river, it means that now they know what the jungle pathing is, and hopefully means they can play a little bit around it.
And we are all good. Now we have the scoreboard back. Production has solved the problems. They found the angle and they managed to bring us the CS numbers, which are pretty even across the board. Ezreal obviously picking up a little bit of a lead, but as you said, going for that early reset from the Jhin, which is going to lead to those things.
Yeah, and picking up that wave under turret gives them a little bit more CS. It's kind of the bouncing back and forth. Junglers taking their resets as well. Nothing really exciting happening here. My question will be kind of where they path from here, because the Nocturne is going to have both his camps up. His Crooks are going to respawn, his Raps are going to respawn, and then his top side, which means if he elects to full clear again, he's going to be away from the early dragon, which next Vetheø, obviously having path top side to bot, is going to have access to that a lot earlier if they opt into it.
Yeah, definitely so. And right now, Lancer putting a little bit of pressure onto Solemn in this top side as well. So kind of almost saying, you know what, you are going to need your jungler up here, which then does buy a bit more time for his own jungler to move down to that dragon as seen. And we've seen a lot of dragons being taken so far. I do think that Soul is something you have to always think about in the back of your mind. And have we seen 2 Ocean Souls today? I feel like it's been a bit rainy on the Rift.
It is. It's been... That threw me off. Sorry, that one got me. I wasn't ready for that. It's in the top lane.
That wasn't even a pun.
Yeah, I know, but I just imagine you talking about the weather and you're like, oh, it's a bit windy on the Rift today. We got Cloud Dragon coming in, and you know, around 5 we've got a little bit of thunder and lightning, as it's going to be Hexstray coming in second.
I think that should become my new title, Weatherman of the Rift. You know, it's been a bit of a cloudy start to this Rift. Some showers could come through with the Ocean Drake being picked up, but it is going to warm up a little bit with the Infernal coming in hot, sunny skies for the rest of the day. But it is actually cloud on the Rift at the moment, and we'll see who does decide to take it. Obviously, not the greatest Soul, or no one majorly raves about the Soul, but it is a really nice drag in its own right.
It has a lot of effectiveness in this kind of game. Obviously, on the side of Misfits, if you're playing a poke style, you can keep yourself topped up on HP. It means that poke is going to be even more relenting. And on the flip side, if you're the Hornets, you're able to get that Ocean. It means that the poke from the other team isn't going to affect you as much. So I think in this game specifically, if we do see that Ocean sold, it actually has a lot more priority than it would in any of these other games so far.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to keep tabs on which Drake it is going to be. Wukong hovering around the dragon right now. Bot lane does have a bit of priority, but mid resetting does mean that maybe they're not going to opt in for it just yet. And people are starting to creep onto that level 6. We're waiting for those junglers to really hit that before the action kicks off.
Cheeky invade heading towards the top side, possibly from this Nocturne. And the wave state Lancer is doing such a good job of controlling this at the moment. They are down a little bit of CS, but they've been able to constantly keep that wave on their side, meaning that they're never really at threat from ganks. So this Volibear hasn't been able to actually find any gank setup for his Nocturne so far.
And in the mid lane as well, ekkövid, what a great name by the way, just keeping themselves at arm's length of Agle, which is pretty smart, you know. We've all seen Annie, we've all played against an Annie. We all know if you get a little bit too close, you're going to get burned.
And that's the thing as well, when you look at it, it's ekkövid's playing against a Masters tier Annie player. That's not just any Annie player. That is a really high skilled player playing a champion that is known for having high levels amount of bursts. And the fact that they're actually able to stay even in this early lane phase, really big props to ekkövid.
No, 100%. And a much more quiet game than the last one that we saw. I will say the game is slowly but surely warming up. You know, we're not diving straight headfirst into all of these kills. But I do feel like once we get to those level 6s, as we just saw Nocturne proc, it's starting to get to that moment where it's going to get a bit wild.
Yeah, as soon as these fights start, they are going to explode. Because I'm expecting Hornets, now that they're up those level 6 marks, to just start pulling the trigger. And we see already that there's a 2-man group, if you look at the minimap, hovering towards that top side. And Lancer might be in a bit of trouble soon.
It's a little bit of a risky dive though. If Gnar does start to get close to the rage bar, diving a Mega Gnar, not exactly my idea of fun, and could cause a bit of problems to Nocturne. But they're going for the Rift Herald at the moment. It did just spawn Nocturne hovering around that objective. As Gnar's going to go pretty aggressive though onto the Volibear. Will get the slam against the wall. Now gets the stun and one more auto. But a good Stormbringer will give him a bit more life. But it's going to be first blood over to Lancer.
And a little bit of a solo bolo in the top lane from Lancer. That's what we expected to see from this Gnar matchup. Able to absolutely bully out that Volibear, whittle him down, and then once again, Mega Gnar has so much burst. You find that point where you're ahead and then you can burst, but in the bot lane, because that Leona's moved over, some poke going over to the way of this Misfits side, but it is going to be traded for that Herald.
Yeah, and a beautiful dodge there from Jhin, just avoiding that little bit of extra damage coming out from the True Shot barrage of Ezreal, but a good punish from the bot lane of the side of Misfits. And we saw ekkövid avoiding some of those ganks as well, and we did see that Leona roaming into that mid lane.
I always wonder what the numbers in people's names represent. Like, is ekkövid-19, is that like, are they trying to say that that's when the dreaded virus came about, or
yeah, well, it's COVID-19. You know, COVID-19 is what it's known as. So I feel like that's a pretty good name. You know, I
shout
like
out. Yeah, go for it. I mean,
shout out to COVID.
big ups the
the worst shout out ever.
Yeah.
No one wants this.
No one wants the shout out, but they do want the dragon. Segues there. They do want the dragon from the side of Misfits, and they've taken that one away, which means it's going to be Mountain next. Where's your weatherman report for that one, JReal?
Well, it's a little bit dry coming through. A bit of a sandy storms could hit the rift, but maybe even some crazy, I can't think of the word, geology could have some new formations might be popping up across the rift. But not just yet, because it's not going to be Mountain's soul. And this wave, by the way, it's absolutely massive for Gnar. You talked about Lancer having that control, and he is just keeping that tempo up. He's just making sure that he's always safe in this lane and just able to keep a difficult lane position for Volibear.
Oh, and it's so good here. Lancer just tanking that minion wave, has the pots, knows he can sustain through it, and just making sure that the wave's always in a good state for him. Is going to start pushing out now that it's the cannon wave bouncing. But I think once again, it's going to be on a good timing for them to be able to push that one out, look for a base. And right now, this match has been super interesting. But we see the Volibear, they're trying to find that engage onto the mini Gnar. And if Sungardit finds it, it can definitely be another solo kill the other way.
But the if is strong in this one. Lancer is playing it to a T, keeping that distance. And it's exactly what we said. You know, we said it's all about how good this Gnar is playing it. It's all about how well they can keep that kiting. And he's showing that he knows what he's doing in this matchup. But we are seeing a potential gank in this mid lane. 3-man waiting in that bush. They're about to
I mean, they're gonna, if they look for this play, they're doing the opposite of what they say you should do versus ekkövid. Not trying to social distance at all, trying to get as close as possible to that Corki, ganking that one through, and oh, they're just sitting in that bush, and ekkövid seems to know. He's got the sixth sense about it. But the flash forward.
Flash going forward. There goes the paranoia as well. They will pick up the kill. Yami finding the last bit of damage there. And it is a successful gank finally. And here comes the Rift Herald. They said, you know what, we're going to take one kill and take huge advantages from it. They're looking for multiple plates now in the mid lane.
Pushing that one through, popping all that gold onto the Nocturne and the Annie. Some of the key players on this team, that mid laner who we highlighted in the pre-game, being a star player for this side, we expect. But it's only 800 gold. It's only the one kill so far. We need to see more from them. 11 minutes in, it's been a very slow game, and this definitely suits towards what Misfits wants.
No, it does indeed. We talked about the scaling factor for them. We said the late game is all theirs. But to be honest, it may be a little bit earlier than that. You know, obviously the 2-item power spike for Corki is absolutely huge. But right now, the dive in the top side. Ooh, Wukong making it look easy.
Spins in, jumps out, goes away. 2 plates over to Lancer as well. And not having that paranoia available means that Reborn Yami can't look for the counter play. And that gold lead that there's just been gained by the Hornets, Misfits takes it straight back again.
It is indeed, and we'll see if Lancer goes for more. He is going to back away, play respectfully, and then just reset in the base. Does have TP though, so could get into lane pretty quickly, but may not even need to do that. And Misfits just playing the tempo how they want. I feel like Hornets maybe need to pick up the pace a little bit. You've got the level 6 on Nocturne now, so use that to gank that bot lane, to gank that top lane. I think bot is where they should play, in my personal opinion, just because there's a little bit more setup and Volibear not having the best time.
Yeah, we haven't seen... I spoke about how there's so much engage setup for this bot lane. We haven't really seen it happen as of yet. They haven't looked for any plays onto this Nami Ezreal. At the moment, kind of just been letting them chill, letting Ezreal farm up that tier. But already on that Essence Reaver, whereas Jhin is behind in items, building towards that Eclipse rather than the Gale Force that I might have expected to see. So going more towards that long-range build, trying to help his team from a distance.
He is indeed, and I am a little bit surprised they has been so slow controlled. I feel like both teams came in with a game plan and they're sticking very much to it. I expected maybe a little bit more fiesta, you know, considering it's charity tournament, but it's also kind of refreshing to see. You know, we had a crazy hype match and now we're seeing a bit of fighting as well, but Gnar is not going to be able to get the kill onto Volibear just yet. Volibear keeping himself at a good distance.
Oh, it is such a rough lane phase now. Has that Divine Sunderer as an E forwards.
Ezreal going aggressive here onto Yami, who's now going to go back in with the paranoia, but there's 3 members in that group. You do not want to be there, but SolemnSpy going to stun them up. Annie now dropping big damage on the AoE, but here's going to be enough. Agle trying to get in there, but one more auto will finish them off. Corki going to find the kill, and they were looking for Ezreal, but they haven't got the damage just yet. Solemn is going to get caught by the Zenith lane and will be picked up. As in the top side, Volibear goes bye-bye, back to base.
And it's almost like you cursed it, JReal. You said we haven't seen any action. Everyone shows up to River, and it's like someone put a message in the all chat where they're like, River, now we're fighting. And everyone went in, they all committed, and it comes out a kind of even trade altogether. 2 deaths towards each side, I think. Possibly 3 over to the side of Misfits, as it was just kind of a scrap all around from everybody, as you know, not really much came from that. Dragon is up now. It is that mountain, and package available for this Misfit side means that they surely should be securing this one.
And Nocturne on the top side as well. It should be a very easy take for Misfits. It would be absolutely wild if this gets stolen. I don't know exactly what could steal it. And nowhere near the Dragon. There's no jinx in the game. So it is going to be a secure from next Vetheø, and they pick up even more control over this game. We talked about their scaling. Now they have the Dragon advantage as well. They are setting up very nicely for a good victory in this game.
And just off of that, we are going to see the Hex Tech Gates activate. So I'll leave it to JReal to give you all the weather-related puns on this one, as I'll talk about the general state of the game altogether. So at the moment, spoke about that side lane now. It is becoming even more and more of a threat. This Volibear can't deal with it. You're going to have to put some pressure there in the form of Nocturne, but the turret has already been taken, which means that if they want to, Lancer can come top, push out this next wave, and then start to play through the bot side. Go punish the advantage even more. As this Herald is going to spawn in a few minutes, means that sorry, it's not going to spawn in a few minutes. As it's been just taken from Reborn Yami, they're possibly going to try look to use this mid, crack this open, even the game up a little bit, and then they can start to play around the side lanes themselves.
And the Hornets trying to put so much pressure on this Annie, but with this Ezreal just playing so far back, it's really difficult to get the engage. They need the flash, which is coming up very shortly, but it's not available just yet, and it's just buying so much time out of the potential usage that Yami could have for that, or drag fit in the bot lane, as we are going to see the Soul Flare come down. There's the Paranoia, but an easy Arcane Shift just gets them to safety. They are going to drop the Herald, which will take this tower, but again, no kills found by this Nocturne.
And it's so unfortunate. Such a good Leona ultimate there, but it's Ezreal. Ezreal can buffer out of that. He doesn't care. His Lancer's going in.
Oh, here we go. Gets the stun against the wall. Volibear now going to be knocked up by the Wukong, and it's another quick kill given over to the side of the Gnar. And this Volibear just not enjoying the game. You know, he just wants to play some League of Legends. Shout out to Dyrus. But it's a sentiment where he just isn't allowed to. The jungler is there, or Gnar is just able to keep him in a rough situation in lane.
And Misfits angry that Vitality took their mid turret away. They're deciding to go straight into the mid lane with 4 people. Try get that one back, as Lancer's here as well. And they're definitely stronger at this point in the game. But the gold lead is close. The item difference isn't that huge, barring that top lane. So there's loads of potential still for the Hornets to get themselves back into this with one quick engage.
Yeah, mythics are being completed across the board. Volibear hasn't got his just yet, and we are going to see a bit of an alternative build from the Corki and the Ezreal in terms of no mythic. First, which actually, I think, taking that back, is actually the normal build. But for the rest of the team, they are going to be able to pick up their Divine Sunderers, you know, which I feel like Divine Sunderer has had a very interesting kind of rap across the rest of the Rift, or outside of the Rift, where a lot of people really hate Divine Sunderer.
Yeah, I think it's one of those items that it has circumstances where it's really good. Like in this game, Lancer having that Divine Sunder into the Volibear really helps, because you need that damage to help take out the tanks. Whereas sometimes people will build it, there'll be no tanks in the game, nothing really that you can sustain off of, so it doesn't really help that much. But Gnar being one of those champions that procs Tăchυ quite well, looks to cast quite a lot, and when you get into Mega, it helps you even more have so much more of that burst. So it's a good item to build in this game, I feel. And I get what you mean. It's one of those items where people kind of, they don't really like it because it's not the most stat efficient, and it is what it is, you know? It is what it is. It's one of those things.
It's a mixture. Yeah. Some people like it, some people don't like it, some people like to hate on it. Like, I feel like he's just had a whole turbulent time in this new season, but we'll see what the people in chat think about Divine Thunder. And give us your opinion on that item in chat. But back to this game, things have cooled down a little bit. You know, we had a bit of fighting, but I think the next dragon is where we're going to see the fireworks fly. 1 minute 13 for the first. Well, it's going to be Hextech Drake. But right now we're being told Mountain Drake on the corner of our screen.
Gotta love the Spectate client. Still haven't fixed that bug. Hextech Dragon obviously doesn't have an icon, so it doesn't. I mean, it has an icon, but they don't put it in the timer for some reason when you spectate. So it is going to be that one. Do not be fooled by the mountain. It's actually the Hextech Dragon. As next Vetheø, he's going to path towards the bot side, going to go towards those Raptors, and Misfits looking to get into this river first. As Lancer fears no one, running forwards towards that jungle.
Yeah, but Leona is lying in wait. Now, Leona has occupied that bush for a long time in this game, but this time it is definitely very, very threatening because they are cutting off that potential for the Drake roam. But now, we do see Misfits moving to the top side. Are they just going to say, you know what, we're going to flip this for a Baron?
No, there's no way. They have to contest this because the dragon is taken so quickly. And I feel like they're on 2 dragons already. If you get that third, it puts you in such a good state towards your late game. So they definitely want this, but it's so difficult when they have to check into an Annie and a Leona. Just the amount of burst damage that they have. But Lancer getting towards his Gnar definitely makes it a bit easier.
Yeah, Nani dropping the stun there. Does need to build that one up to cause that pressure. But as you said, they're holding that wall. They're keeping themselves in a good situation over this dragon and very much keeping Misfits away.
So far, they're keeping them out now. That ward has just been taken from that pit, which means they know they need to start walking towards it. The dragon has spawned, and this might be the fight.
Gnar is roaming in. Mega does jump forward. Could potentially find the Jhin. Going to flash forward. Is looking for the stun, but we're going to go onto the Leona, who gets the stun onto Wukong. Holding the line a little bit longer. And Annie getting a big stun, but it's only onto Gnar. They're doing a lot of damage, though. Going to take him pretty low, but it is lots of the stays alive. And here comes the Paranoia. Going to take out the Gnar. They do get into the backline and causing big damage to Wukong. Cycloning, getting the knock up, buying his team time. And Corki just firing from the backline. Stasis from Leona will keep them alive a little bit longer, but one more bomb will pick them off. And Nami stepping forward, getting a little bit close to the fire, but not going to be fried just yet. And 3 for 3 for both teams. No clear winner though. You know, both of them ready for this Drake, but there is one smite on the map left, and that's Yami.
The important part is, though, what cooldowns were used. No Paranoia anymore, no Tibbers. A lot of that burst has been gone, and ekkövid still has that poke. Ezreal still can fire that Mystic shot, so if they hit their skill shots, they definitely can force them out of the river on this one, but it's all a question of what can they hit.
And the skill shot game looking a bit like dodgeball, and they are definitely firing in these shots. Solomon getting a lot of hits and will hit the true shot barrage as well, so putting on such low HP, it should set them up for the Drake, but I reckon we're just going to get round 2.
Yeah, round 2, they want to look to fight this one again, but with the bases coming through, it should be an easy dragon take over to the side of Misfits if they opt into it. Lancer's obviously got hit first. Volibear heading towards the top side means you're not really going to have the members here to actually fight against this one. And Nocturne has no way of getting into the pit, so an easy dragon take which sets them up for soul point.
Soul point of the Hextech Drake. It is one of the strongest souls in the game, and it is one that you cannot let Misfits get for free. The poke with the extra damage would be absolutely ridiculous, plus the slow that it gives you as well. It is just built for ADCs and people with poke, and well, we can see the Misfits comp, they have both of those.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that, actually, because we spoke about this compound which engage it has, but when you look at 2 of the members that contribute to this engage, the Volibear and the Nocturne, most of it comes from running at you. Obviously, that Paranoia means that the Nocturne can jump in, but after he's jumped in, he kind of just walks at you quickly. And with that Hextech Dragon, it means that this kite that they already have so much of just becomes oh so much stronger, and it kind of closes off more options. So definitely gonna need to see a big fight for that 4th dragon from the Hornets.
Is it walks briskly or runs slowly?
I think it's jogs hastily.
Okay, all right. Volibear there, getting a new tooltip update there. Volibear jogs hastily at his enemies before he gets the stun. But it's the thing is, I don't understand why they didn't make Volibear as fast as Ekkövid. You know?
What do you mean? Wait.
Bears run as fast as horses. That's a fact.
Wait. Also, bears can climb. So why can't Volibear just climb over the walls of the rift?
So many opportunities.
Yeah, that would be absolutely terrifying. Imagine you're in the jungle and Volibear just starts sprinting over walls at you. I feel like that's a thing of nightmares that I don't really ever want to experience. So thank you that it's not in the game. And also, you say how come he doesn't run as fast as Hecarim? Do you remember when Chemtech first came out and you would go Predator, Chemtech, Volibear and sprint at the speed of light towards people?
Yeah, there are definitely ways to make yourself a bit faster. Volibear obviously can get up to some top speeds, but like Need for Speed, the Volibear on this team, he needs his family, you know, and we know that nothing is stronger than family. We need to see some of the Hornets play together as a five. A cohesion is what we want to see, and maybe they can start bringing this game back into control.
And talking of control, they are going to gain a little bit of it in the top lane, gather a turret for themselves, and this Annie is just getting stronger. But on the flip side, Misfits goes, yeah, you can have our top tier 1 because we're taking your mid tier 2.
And it's a really good option here. The cross-map play from Misfits, very, very clean. I perfectly like that execution. They're taking the tier 2 and they open up the map even more. They're taking even more control. And we said that it is Misfits in the late game that have the advantage in Hornets, although very, very close in gold. Do feel like they're kind of losing a grip on the map. They're losing objectives. They're not able to keep these dragons. The Baron does feel like it's at a big threat from the side of Misfits. Are Hornets basically going to have to set up a trap, or how do they kind of get themselves back into this game?
Well, they have so many engage options. They can start a fight when they want, and it seems like they want to start a fight now because they're going straight for this Baron sneak. The damage on it isn't the highest, so it's going to take them a while to do this one if they go for it. But Misfits seems none the wiser at the moment, as Rainbow, he's going to be basing now, and they might not know it's happening, so this could actually work out.
Yeah, to be honest, they are going to have a while to check this. It is going down very slowly. We're now at half HP.
Oh,
maybe someone lurks a little bit close. Next Vetheø on that board. We do see the paranoia coming through, but he's going to walk back.
No.
They're going to give up the Baron. They're just going to be able to sneak this. This is an absolute crazy play from Hornet. And I asked how could they get back, but right there, that's exactly how they do it.
Yeah, that's a good start. Getting yourself a Baron sneak at 25-minute mark. That's a good way to get yourself back into the game. A minute before this dragon as well, which makes it's going to be super easy to push out these waves. You're going to have those extra added stats towards contesting this dragon. So they've put themselves in a prime position now to start turning this game around. And what I want to see is, I want some LPL style gameplay from the Hornets. That's the way you win these team fights. It's not by trying to poke out, you know, waiting for the right opportunity. It is slamming your face into Misfits, finding a pick onto one of these squishy members and just throwing everything at them.
We'll see if they can do that. Obviously, Annie with Flash, very, very dangerous, is available for this next fight. 30 seconds until the Drake. But right now, Misfits are looking to try and get a pick before this Drake and make their life easier. And Yami might be on the receiving end of this damage. He gets away for now, though. And Misfits, it felt like they had the fish in the net, and they let it go. Oh, but turn around! Oh my days, Annie just coming through, bursting down the Ezreal as Wukong now stepping forwards. It's going to be a pretty low Annie, but they get away for the moment, and now Paranoia comes in. They turn this fight back in their favor. It is going to be Misfits that are in the receiving end of a bit of an L on this one, and it looks like the Dragon could be up for contention for the side of Hornets.
And we spoke about before, they just have so much burst on the side of the Hornets. If they find these squishy members, they will one-shot them without a doubt. And Agle just plays that super well, skirts around the vision on the outside, and there were pings on towards this Annie, but they weren't paying attention. Their concentration lapsed for just a second, and that is all this Annie needed to absolutely obliterate one of their carries.
Hectic Drake now over to the Hornets, plus they get the tier 2 in the top. Volibear able to put on some pressure with the split push, and they're starting to get themselves back into this game. They've now built themselves a 3k gold lead, and Misfits were in so much control. We talked about how they have this late game power, but feel like they've kind of just given the rift back over to the Hornets.
And I feel like the thing that they need to do now to stabilize is play through Lancer. Right now, Lancer's been grouping up quite a lot. We see it from the fact that he's gone down in CS now. Let Lancer play the side lane. He was dominating this Volibear early, absolutely smashing that matchup. Let it get back to that situation. You're playing a 4-1 style. You know, the 4 members can poke. You have good disengage with this Nami and this Wukong. Let the Ezreal and Corki work their magic while this Gnar on the side lane gains you more advantages.
And we love a death rush in these kind of streams. This is exactly what I want to see. If anyone walks past this bush, they are in for a bad time. But, Yami, getting a bit bored, going to step forward, going to maybe look to maybe bait someone back. Vetheø going to take his camp and walk away, understanding that this jungle is not his and playing it very safe.
We have well played there, just to kind of stay relaxed, not push in too far. And we've got 3 minutes now until this next Baron up. That's the next point that we are expecting a fight. And what I want to see from Misfits is I want to see Lancer on this side lane I spoke about before. We need to see them matching that Volibear, finding an advantage, pushing through the bottom lane. Because in that sense, they have to take 2 people. The Hornets need 2 people to kill Lancer. And if it's a Nocturne that commits, you win any fight on the other side of the map.
And I feel like Hornets, they got that Baron steal, they were able to, or sorry, that Baron sneak, and they were able to really use that to get their advantage. They're finding picks. They can just keep playing to that style, but we'll see if Misfits keep falling for it. If they then start to play as a 5, though, it is going to become increasingly difficult for the Hornets to get those picks. Yeah,
as soon as you... The benefit of bringing the Gnar over, obviously, is if there is that Mega Gnar available, you do have that tanky frontline. You have that member that can phase check into this Annie and such and stay alive. On the flip side as well, Wukong has that Death Stance, has those Merc Treads, can keep alive for quite a bit of time themselves. And we spoke about the Baron Sneak before. I feel like the Baron Sneak is a play that can only kind of happen once a game.
Yeah, it does feel like it's something that shouldn't recur. Admittedly, if it does, absolutely
insane.
That's a key fundamental macro problem if you're losing Baron sneaks on a regular basis. But in terms of things like Baron, in terms of things like Dragon Dancing, it's something that happens all the time. And I feel like Misfits team is so well set up for it. You can see the 3 items on the Corki, on the Ezreal. Their poke is going to be unbelievable to deal with. And I feel like if Misfits can just set up early for these objectives, start putting pressure in these choke points and just basically causing problems and annoying the Hornets, they can basically just win any fight and dictate the tempo of this game.
Yeah, that's it. They just need to get to the objectives first, and if they can get to the objectives first, it's like you said, they just need to annoy the Hornets. I mean, everyone always says you don't want to poke at the bee's nest, you don't want to annoy a Hornet because it's going to sting back. And I feel like this game and these compositions are kind of the perfect metaphor of that. Misfits just wanting to poke away at these Hornets, you know, try pick them off one by one, whittle them down, make sure their numbers are dwindled. Whereas the Hornets, they're a composition that just wants to bite, and they want to bite hard or stink.
Yeah, they have to jump in, you know, they have to come through stingers ready. Obviously, Hornets don't die straight away. They're not like bees, so they are ready for the repeat attacks. But we'll see if they can use this to their advantage. Right now, looking for a flank, and we've already seen the danger that Annie can cause.
Look at this vision control. Both teams doing a good job here. They have split sides of the map, though. We can see that Misfits is putting priority onto that dragon. They want that soul. Their vision is in the bot side. That is where they've put their focus towards. Whereas on the flip side, this Hornet side, they've put so much blue control wards in that top side, trying to keep that map, that side of the map their own. And we see Agle now is in a bush, waiting for an unsuspecting target.
Oh, and it's going to be Lancer, but immediately Lancer is quite tanky, does have the force of nature, so he is going to be able to keep himself pretty topped up on the HP bar when it comes to buying the Annie. But we're seeing another Baron sneak, and no way does this happen twice.
No, come on, it can't. No, not the second one. Oh my lord. I said before, it's not a play that can happen twice, but we might see it, J-Real.
And on the weather report, we have the lightning rift. You know, lightning shouldn't strike twice, but it is clearly happening. And Vetheø has left the game. I don't know if we're going to get a pause. We're going to get a pause now onto the game. It's all going wrong for Misfits, you know.
That's so unfortunate. Literally, as the Baron sneak's happening, next Vetheø DCs, and it means that we're going to get 2 Baron sneaks in one game. I don't think I've ever seen that in my time casting League of Legends, and I'm just glad to be part of this historic event, to be honest.
It is, well, there's the sneak. It's happened. Well, that is a new first for me.
How long until we push the narrative that next Vetheø saw the Baron sneak happening and was like, not again, I'm just leaving. It's like your solo queue junglers coming through.
It's yeah, I will say yeah, I'm lost for words about the Baron sneak. I am surprised that this has occurred more than once. We are going to have the unpausing now of the client, which has to come through after the pause. I never really understand why that occurred, but it just does. and we are back onto the Rift. Now, we've seen the Baron sneak, but do they secure the Dragon? Soul Point is on the table. Misfits are looking to swap, and they're looking just to rush it straight away.
Yep, straight one shot. They have the package as well to keep them away. And Reborn Yami, no access to that paranoia, which means Hex, Tech, Soul over. Now, the benefit to that is, as soon as these 2.5 minutes have passed from this Baron, as soon as that buff is gone, it means that that Hex, Tech, Soul is going to be oh so much more worth, because that thing stays the whole game.
100%. You know, the Hextech Soul is one that everyone is fearing. No one wants to get struck by the lightning, especially not twice like these Baron steals. And we'll have to see how that does occur. Right now, Solomon chilling in this bot lane, but does still need to play safe. Although you are Ezreal, it is still a pretty scary team called the Paranoia. That does lead to a lot of fear. But Volibear needs to be careful as well. Obviously, he is quite tanky, but yeah, he needs to be a little bit cautious.
I mean, it's like they say, you know, a Hextech Soul isn't just for Christmas, it's for life.
Do they say
that? maybe that's what it's what someone says. I've said it now. I'm making it a thing.
Okay.
Everyone in your
that,
games, every time you get
go.
sold, say it's not just for Christmas, it's for life.
It is for life. Well, it is for the life of the game that is there. But a lot of pushing there coming out of Agle and able to get a pretty deep push onto this Corki. I'm surprised that the Corki's not able to deal out quite a bit more poke, but playing it very smart there, obviously understanding their range of their champion, and Nami just keeping their distance. But right now, it looks like Misfits are trying to get a bit of a pick on the bot side, and I feel like you said they just need to wait out the 2-minute timers. I kind of agree. They could just play this slow and wait for their own advantage.
And they're literally doing exactly what they need to do. It's not on them to push the tempo, it's on the Hornets. The Hornets need to find a play, they need to find the dive to help make use of this Baron. But the moment they're getting vision control in the bot side, but they're not able to play off of these waves just yet. And this just comes from Misfits. They're staying safe, constantly poking, playing at that max range, and it's honestly so well played from this team.
Yeah, 3 minutes until the next Baron, 4 minutes until the next Drake. I imagine we're just going to be waiting out the Baron buff timer, which is 30 more seconds, and then we are ready to rumble. I imagine Misfits will definitely want to be taking some fights soon because they are starting to get pretty bad. Oh, hold on. Leona, they're going to go aggressive. There's the Paranoia going into the backline. We see a big sort of flare onto the Nami, but not holding the line. He keeps them away for a bit, but is it going to be enough? Nocturne picking up the kill onto Ezreal is absolutely huge. And now Hornets trying to break the base. It's 3v4. Do they have enough to pick up another score and knock on this door? We'll find out as Vetheø going to dash it back, and Volibear going to meet them, but they have some time on this tower. That wave has crashed through, and it's forced them back a little bit. The wave has been kept out of their tower, and they're not going to be able to take it just yet.
And the shotgun comes through. The Hornets stinging hard on that one, really going for it and just engaging under turret. And we spoke about the fact that they have a lot of disengage. I think it was so well played from this Leona from the Hornets side. Instead of choosing to stun up a carry, stuns up that Nami. All of a sudden, when that Nami's not able to peel, the carries are left by themselves, and the issue you have of being kited out doesn't become such a big problem anymore.
Yeah, we talked about how dangerous the Nocturne can be for the Ezreal, even with the Arcane Shift, even with the movement away. It's going to be so problematic when the Nocturne can just jump onto you, and then the Fear has such a long tether that it is very difficult to get out of range, so definitely a lot of heal needed. But as you said, a great stun onto Nami really changes everything in that fight, but they still survive. No inhibitors down, so no natural advantages over to the Hornets just yet. They still, though, do have a 6k gold lead, and they are definitely using that to their advantage.
6,000 gold. To think this game started at such an even state, and the kill score isn't really representative of the gold lead in this game. It's the Hornets able to play through the objectives, able to play through these turrets. And yes, there is a bit of standing gold left for the Misfits side, but just when you look at kind of how this game has turned around, our expectations have kind of shifted in the bot lane. We expected this Jhin Leona lane to be able to beat out the Nami Ezreal. We thought they were going to engage, play aggressive, get a massive CS lead, a few kills over to them, and we thought this Gnar was going to beat out the Volibear. But from some really nice side lane play, this Volibear is now up 70 CS almost, has now got 3 items, and is so tanky. And there's one way you deal with a poke, and that is putting a big meatball in front of it.
Yeah, or just immediately blowing them up. You know, obviously we've seen that and they cause big problems as well. They have both, as you said, pretty much a shotgun comp. I do agree with that metaphor. and they are waiting in these bushes. They're looking for that pick. They want to find those small advantages, which they've been consistently able to get. 44 seconds before the Baron as well. I don't think we're going to get the third sneak.
No, there's no way, right? There's no way.
There has to be no way. But right now we're going to get a big jump from Lancer. They're going to be able to pull back. And that's so much damage. They pick up the kill onto Agle already. And now the team is running with the TP coming through behind them as well. They haven't seen it though because of the paranoia. So Volibear was a little bit safe there. But a big pick on the Annie does just turn the tables. And we'll have to see if this means double objectives over to the side of Misfits.
Lancer playmaker coming through, finding these engages, and it's not the kind of play I expected to see from a Gnar, but I am happy to see it, able to constantly find really good ultimates, find picks onto key targets. On the flip side, this Volibear now split pushing. Lancer is going to base to find it, and we're not going to see a Baron sneak, at least not a third one. We are going to see a Baron take though.
Baron take indeed. A nice pick up there for Misfits, their first Baron of the game, and some guard it. Able to get close to the inhibitor, but not able to take it, as we are going to see Lancer defending the base valiantly, and now we're seeing the Elder Dragon spawn. This could be the last big fight of the game. See how this one plays out. Good flash there away from Jhin. We'll get him to safety away from the Wukong.
No TP on the Annie, so if they start this one out, they are going to be up on members. They have the Corki package. They have everything they need. The only issue is now the Cyclone is gone. Wukong doesn't have access to that, but they are melting it quick. This is going to be a fight, JrealCasts.
This is a very fast Elder Drake and Gnar as well, causing a big problem, being like a bouncer and blocking everyone from getting into the club of Elder Drake. But here comes the Nocturne diving in, and they look for the steal. They're not going to be able to get it. It's taken away by Misfits, and now Misfits with the Elder Drake should be able to close out this fight if they can get close to anyone. Ezreal dashing forward, trying to turn the tables onto Nocturne. Will pick up the kill, and that's just one, but they have Baron as well. They've got the wave in mid. They're looking to push this and end the game.
The odds are so stacked against the Hornets right now. Misfits has Baron, has the Elder Dragon, has Hextech Soul. They have everything they need to win this game. We need to see something huge from the Hornets to hold them off here.
We're talking about a 5-man Tivers. That's the kind of momentum they need to change this game. We're looking to see if they can. The wave is being Baron buffed up, and a lot of damage is coming through from this poke. Jhin taking so much damage on the side. They're almost going down as here goes Gnar, tracking the Volibear back into the game. He's going to try and get big, but they take Annie. They take the Volibear. They're looking for more. The Jhin is going to fall as well. The Leona, the last one to stand, but will not stand for much longer. Or will just leave the towers and they will die themselves. There's the Leona, there's the towers, and there is the Nexus. Misfits taking the game just like the cast predicted.